In today's Belonging in Utah, we're taking a closer look at the life of a Utah black pioneer who helped get the early settlers of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints settled here in Utah.
Now, his name is a familiar one here in the Beehive State, and Jamie McGriff has more on his story.
His name is Green Flake. He was born January 6, 1828 in North Carolina. As many slaves, he was treated as property, passed on to another owner, ends up moving to Mississippi, accepts a new faith by becoming a Latter-day Saint along with his slaveholder, and ultimately becomes a crucial part of Utah's pioneer history. Stories have been shared, a statue has been made, and even a movie produced, all to recognize the life of a black man named Green Flake.
How does an enslaved person born in North Carolina end up buried in Fort Union, Utah?
Dr. Paul Reeve, chair of the University of Utah's History Department and Simmons Chair of Mormon Studies, shared the story of Green Flake and other African Americans on a website he created called Century of Black Mormons.
And the database then provides the evidence, but also is designed to reclaim those who are lost.
Reclaiming the missing stories is a big deal, especially for families looking to learn more about their black history.
So Green Flake is an enslaved man who arrives in the Salt Lake Valley on July 22nd, 1847, 2 days ahead of Brigham Young. He is accompanied by two other enslaved men, Hark Wells and Oscar Smith.
As history records, Flake and the other two black slaves were the first pioneers to step foot in the Salt Lake Valley, bearing the heavy task of preparing for the white Mormon settlers.
And the added pressure, right, to build a shelter and to plant crops so that your white enslavers have food to eat and a shelter by the time they arrive in 1848, the next year.
And from records found, Flake was recognized and honored for his work.
We found at least 19 newspaper articles that mention him in the 19th century in connection with 24th of July celebrations. He's sometimes asked to speak and recount his experiences of migrating into the Salt Lake Valley. In 1852, Brigham Young will actually grant him his freedom. Brigham Young basically rents Green's labor for a year, and at the end of that time period then grants him his freedom.
It's believed the same year of his freedom, Green Flake married a woman named Martha Ann Morris. They had two children. The family settled in Union, Utah, which is near the mouth of Big Cottonwood Canyon. Records state Green had a farm and had mining claims. Later in life, when Green Flake's wife Martha passes away, he eventually moved to Idaho to be with his son Abraham until Flake's death in October of 1903. His body was returned to Fort Union Cemetery to be buried next to his beloved Martha.
And Green had actually built the headstone that honors both of their grave sites. So he carves the headstone for Martha. In my father's house are many mansions, the monument says.
There's more details about Green Flake that you can read about. Be sure to look for this story on our website, KUTV.com, or using the 2 News app. Jamie McGriff, KUTV 2 News.